Hello everyone and welcome to part 3 of what happened to Planes 3. I was not going to make this video. I was only planning on making 2 Planes 3 videos and that's it. But a whole bunch more of concept art and 3D models of the planes was just found a couple of days ago by the amazing Train Cars Kiddo 1. Shout out to you, my friend. So we're going to be going over all of this in today's video. This video is not scripted. You're going to be seeing my reaction to all of these things. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. So to start things off really quickly, again, these were found by Train Cars Kiddo. I believe on Twitter, maybe? I'm not even sure. But I don't know who the artists of the majority of these things are, so if you know who the artist is, leave it in the description below, or if you are the artist watching this video, send me an email so we can get in contact, maybe talk more about the canceled Planes 3 movie. I would love to know some more information about it, maybe like a script or something like that. But of course, you know, being a Disney project, they probably had to sign NDAs and all that stuff until it was released. Anyways, I'm getting off topic here, but let's start off with the 3D models because that's what everyone's here for, right? So, the first one we have, it looks like the main character Blaze, the X-84, and there's a little caption at the top that I'm going to read. These are look dev paint overs I did over geometry to direct the final surfacing of the X-84 experimental surface to spacecraft. We were experimenting with shape-changing polymers in the wings and a graphene-based fuselage. The hexagonal pattern on our skin is a tech system I concepted called heat transference. So in this first picture, you can't really see the hexagonal pattern, but in this next one, you have a better view of it. See where the X-84 little logo is? It's kind of over there. Oh, actually, it's all over the plane. Oh, that's pretty cool. Wow. Yeah, so I would assume that the heat transference thing is so that when a plane would re-enter into the Earth's atmosphere, usually they start to burn up, so all that heat could just be transferred like somewhere else, I guess. I don't know how that would work scientifically. I'm not much of a scientist myself. I took science classes, but not the smartest when it comes to that. I'm more of a history guy. Anyways, I love the like the yellow helmet that she has, and I just love the fact that now we have a look at the main character, Blaze. This is who would have been the star of the show. I'm speechless. I'm flabbergasted here. Like, here's some more images here of the, you know, the top at like an angle. You can see the back there as well. Wow. Just the amount of detail that went into these for a movie that was canceled. The fact that we have so much information and art for this movie is just absolutely amazing. It reminds me of Metro. In fact, I think we've surpassed Metro in terms of art and information for this movie. Like, we know more about Planes 3 than we do Metro and some other canceled stuff like Boats. Even though I do actually have something for Boats that I could make a little video on later on, but that's a discussion for another day. This third picture here is of the X-84 as well. You know, you see the top, the side, and the bottom. It looks like really nice. Ooh, and here is some concept art of that 3D model that we just saw. Now, let me read the description at the top. I worked with the very talented Scott Cito on the design of our main character for over a year. Due to the constant story changes, the aircraft type changed 5 times and went from a brother duo to strangers forced to work together to a hotshot ace and finally landing as a female test pilot astronaut. Below is Scott's beautiful concept sketches of the design we ultimately went with. From here, I picked up the baton and refined her form, appeal, surfacing rig, and technology. So it seems like the concept artist here for this image that we're looking at is a guy by the name of Scott Cito. And in fact, I actually found his website, but it was locked. It asked me for a password. I didn't know what the password was, so I couldn't really do anything there to try and find some more art for this video from him. But this is genuinely an amazing piece of art. I would have loved to see Blaze as a diecast, just so you know. I would have loved to see if she would have the little hexagonal patterns and all of that, kind of reminding me of Max Chanel. You know how he is, his diecast at least is kind of rigid, or rigid, is that a word? I don't even know. But you can feel the bumpiness. So I feel like, I think Mattel would have done something similar for the plane here.
This next picture is the X84 HUD. Now, HUD stands for what the plane themselves would see from their perspective. Now, as you can see here, there's so many different gauges and levels. There's a compass right in the middle, and it's showing like the condition of the plane, making sure it's all good. This is such amazing detail. Now, I would probably think we'd only see it for maybe 1 or 2 shots in the final movie, but like, just the amount of detail that they put into these smaller parts of the movie is so appreciated.
Now, we do have a couple other 3D models here, if I can find them. That would be nice. Here we have who I think is like the sidekick character of this movie. I have no idea what his name is, but just looking at him, he's giving me the look that Dusty Crophopper would give. This is not Dusty Crophopper. I'm just going to say it out here. Dusty, I don't think he was going to be in the movie, because this was supposed to be a spin-off to the Planes movies. So, yeah, maybe we could have seen him in a cameo, maybe like in a little background scene on the news. But I don't think Dusty was going to be in this movie. This was, again, something completely different to the Planes movie. Anyway, for this smaller plane, he looks like a warplane, actually. He looks like some sort of veteran. The tail fin says 2567. Interesting. He doesn't have a propeller on the front. And I do actually have another picture here. You know, he reminds me of Skipper. Yeah, because he has the little thing that Skipper had as well. On the wheels. What? And here we do have actually a better look at the plane side, the front. There's no bottom here, I don't see. But yeah, maybe I just missed it. Maybe we do know his name and I just completely forgot. If we know his name, let me know in the comment section below. But I'm pretty sure that there is another piece of concept art with this guy in here. So here it is. You can see a giant plane in the background, just trying to shoot down this guy. This is like, this feels like it would have some like flashback, kind of how the first Planes movie had, with Skipper talking about the battle. I don't remember which battle it was, but you guys remember that flashback from the first Planes movie. I feel like this movie would have had something like that, and I feel like this might have been the flashback, a concept art for the flashback itself, with this guy getting shot down, and that's why his landing gear is completely gone. But hey, that's just a theory. A Planes theory. I'm sorry. Let's see, what else do we have here? Okay, I actually have another. Oh wait, this kind of looks like the guy that was just shooting at the smaller plane. Okay, this is a U.S. Air Force plane. This guy's huge. You know what this could be? Do you guys remember from the last video how there were some of the RVs in front of like Area 51? I think this might have been the plane that was like behind them. Maybe, maybe not. This might be a smaller plane compared to that one. But again, that's just a theory. His tail reads 011257. So really just like rigid and like, you know, he's not built for looks. He's built for war. Who's this guy? Okay, so X85 rookie. What? Why is his mouth so big? Really interesting design. He reminds me of like a helicopter kind of, but like not a helicopter. No, he's got, yeah, it's kind of like a cargo plane actually. It's a weird design. There's a 3D version of him too. At the top it says, "This is a look def paint over I did over geometry to direct the final surfacing of the X-85 experimental surface to spacecraft. He too would have a graphene-based fuselage with the hexagonal pattern to also utilize the heat transference system." My guess is that this was like the model directly after the X-84, which is Blaze, and this model just did not work, I would assume, judging by that one storyboard that we got, that you can see in the first video, because like that guy was a way newer plane than this guy here. Here's some more concept art of this guy, by the way. Or is this 3D models? It's literally just, yeah, it's this guy, the X-85, but just plastered 7 times. Okay, here's another like comic. I keep wanting to say comic strip, but like column strip of the X-85. It looks nice. Okay, I feel like the 3D model kind of refines it a little bit, especially from the side here. Now it makes more sense, but like his mouth is still huge. Alright, so I actually do have a couple more designs for some planes. Now, these were found between me recording this video and actually getting around to editing it. So the first one here is called Black Star, and this guy looks amazing. Here's some concept art. The top one looks like it's a watercolor painting, but it looks really nice though, really detailed. The middle one is, you know, a more detailed composite sketch of the plane, and the bottom one is kind of your base, well, pun intended, because it's showing the base of the plane. Really, really cool. I do love the red visor as well. Here's some 3D models, and this guy just looks amazing. By far one of my favorite planes. Here's some more concept art, 2 more. I don't think it's my favorite one though. My favorite one is this next one. This is a stealth pilot plane. You know, we kind of see these in real life actually. I'm pretty sure the US military has a couple of these. This is such an amazing plane that we can see here. Its number is 12477. It's got the word Navy on the back right there. Really, really amazing plane. And she has a pink visor as well. Really, really cool. Here are some more images of this Navy plane here. This one looks kind of like a concept art is what it looks like, but like a 3D version of concept art, if you know what I mean. It looks amazing, don't get me wrong. This has got to be my favorite plane that we've seen so far. Here is a 3D model of what she would look like in like a 3D modeling software, or 3D render is what the word is. I do wonder, where is the pink visor? I'm kind of concerned where it is, because it looks amazing. This final one kind of reminds me of Bravo and Echo from the first Planes movie. But man, this guy's got so many different like launcher things and things inside of the launcher. Look at this. Look at the back thrusters there. That is so cool. One of the coolest planes I think I've seen. I love old style vehicles, because nowadays a lot of vehicles just all look the same, but the older style of vehicles, they had so much detail to them. Like I went to this old car museum where they had the real life Hudson Hornet there, the final one that they used back in the day in NASCAR. And every vehicle that I saw there, from like Ford to Chevy to even like Buick and Chrysler, they were just so well made back in the day. And then, you know, they even had a newer version of one of the cars. I think it was a Chrysler, and or no, was it a Buick? I don't know. It was one of them. And I don't know, just looking at the new version and like the older version from the 50s, 60s, 70s, there's such a huge difference between the quality of the cars back then and now. Anyway, that is it for these plane designs, but let's go ahead and talk about some of the concept art that was found. Now, again, I have no idea who made... Oh, wait, there's a little... Okay, so this first one is the one that I've used for the thumbnail picture. Or is it? Is this the one I used for the thumbnail? It's not. Okay, so this one, we have some high-tech space planes flying over a city, it looks like. Or maybe some, like, the Grand Canyon, and there's just cars. Why would there be cars driving in the Grand Canyon? So probably not the Grand Canyon. But I assume that they're in a city, and then these planes are just flying by as fast as possible, yelling something. There is like a little... What's the word? Not insignia. Signature. Down here. It looks like it says ERS 17, so I assume this was made in 2017. A lot of the stuff here was made in 2017. Which the movie was supposed to come out 2 years later, in 2019, but of course got canceled. Next one here. Ooh, you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of the end of Planes 1, when Ripslinger was throwing Dusty into these cactuses. You can see there is the smaller plane right here. And then in the left-hand corner, that looks like Blaze. And then another plane behind them. I'm not sure what they're doing. It looks like they're recreating a scene from Star Wars. I don't even know. But yeah, I don't know. There's nothing really else to say here. It looks like the small plane has something in his hand. He's a plane. He doesn't have hands. Something on him? I don't even know. Maybe he crashed into a cactus or something. Let's see. Next up, where are the rest of my concept arts? Here they are. Ooh, I like this one. This one looks like it would be in the Andes Mountains. If you guys remember from the last video, we talked about El Chupacabra and his brother flying through the Andes Mountains. I feel like this has to do with that scene. It's so detailed. It's an old abandoned hangar. There's palm trees everywhere. This looks great. I love this. This is a really, really cool piece of concept art. You know, I might actually print this one out and put it up on my wall. Anyways, this next one, we've got a plane flying into space. I can't really tell who this is. It's probably actually Blaze. Okay, judging by the look of this plane, I assume that this is actually Blaze going into space. I think this is a better version of another one that we've seen before. I'll put it on the screen there. But yeah, really detailed. I love it. Oh, here's another one that kind of reminds me of another one, which like we only got the shadows of the plane flying in the clouds. I think this one is actually correlated to that one. We have two planes flying in the clouds. It looks like some sort of cloud NATO over the ocean? Maybe? I have no idea. The interesting thing about this one is that it's in the 4x3 format and not like the 16x9 format. Ooh, I love this one. There's a plane flying over the Arctic Ocean, and there's a boat. Look, there's a boat in there. Boats, the movie confirmed. I'm kidding. But there's another plane about to land, it looks like, in front of that boat. The boat seems scared. Very scared. Just look at the sunset in the background. That is amazing. Okay, next up, we do actually have the thumbnail picture that I used. We have, what is this, 4 planes flying through the Grand Canyon. There we go. Here's the Grand Canyon. And this looks amazing. Wow. Ooh, imagine they're flying like through the Nevada, Arizona area, and they pass over Ornament Valley, and we see Radiator Springs at the bottom, like them just passing over it. That would be the greatest Easter egg in the entire franchise of cars and planes. But yeah, no, this is a really, really beautifully detailed picture. I don't think there's anything else to say about this one. Look at the sunset in the background. Wow. I'm just saying, hey, the sunsets in cars and like planes are some of the best. Like, take a look at the Race-O-Rama video game cover, and that is one of the coolest sunset pictures I think I've ever seen. Ooh, this one's kind of cool. Next up, we have... Okay, so Blaze, it seems like, is going back into orbit. And then there's another plane, which is the X-85, about to land on top of Blaze, it looks like. Or maybe just following behind. Okay, here's what I think this scene would play out as. Blaze is falling back into the atmosphere. That's why she's burning up here. And then there's like something with the heat transfer system that we talked about earlier. And maybe it malfunctions, or maybe it works. But let's go with the malfunction storyline. And then she crashes back down and is all burnt up. Because for some reason, in every Planes movie, they like to have the main character, crash. Now granted, this isn't the Planes 3, technically it's a spin-off, but like, still, they like to have the main character crash. And then, oh wait, hey, we realize he's alive, or she's alive, and boom, everyone's happy. So I feel like that's kind of like what they would go for this one, just to keep that trend going. Ooh, this is one of the better concept arts I think I've seen. This could actually pass as like a scene in a cartoon show. Wait, that wouldn't be too bad of an idea. Imagine like somebody used all the concept art that we had from this movie and turned it into a 2D version of what we would have seen. That would actually be fantastic. If anyone wants to do that, let me know. This is fabulous, man. I wonder who the plane is back there. Just about to looks like fly toward Blaze. This is really cool. Also, the sunset in the background looks so good. Maybe I should make this the thumbnail picture. Next up, whoa! What? Look at this one! Okay, this is the first time I'm actually looking at this picture. There's a whole bunch of tornadoes around, and then there's two planes in the middle getting struck by lightning. This is so cool! Now, it wouldn't be cool to, like, be in, because there's, like, what, 20 tornadoes? Maybe more? But this is one of the coolest pictures I think I've ever seen. I keep saying that, but, like, these artists are so good at their job. Wow. I wonder how would this look like in 3D on the big screen. That would look so good. What's this? Okay, they're in space. Looks like they're looking at Jupiter or something. Did another planet just blow up or something? Is that Pluto? Did Pluto just blow up? Or maybe that's not even... No, it looks like Jupiter. That's... Yeah, the big orange one right there, that's Jupiter. But what are... They're like on some sort of ice thing. I assume that this would be like either Neptune or Pluto. But Pluto's way far away from Jupiter. But this is really cool. Okay, wait, but like Jupiter's kind of hot, isn't it? So wouldn't this thing just get all burnt up? I have no idea what's going on in this one right here. I will say the space in the background, like on the right hand corner of the screen, looks really nice. Ooh, next up, we have some sort of like, what is this? There's rocks floating everywhere. Is this some sort of like space station in space? Well, duh, if it's a space station, it's gonna be in space. Whoa. This is so cool. It looks like it's just getting beaten up and taken apart, too. Wow. I still have no idea what's going on in this one, though. I really wish we had, like, a script for this movie. Here is the next and final piece of concept art that I have for you guys. It looks like they're on the same spot and maybe in the same planet. and they are. Oh, okay. So they're looking at this name, and the name of this ship or base thing is called Phoenix. Is it named after like Phoenix, Arizona, or what? Okay, they're definitely on some sort of planet because you can see like on the ground of the planet that there's like cracks in the ground and some sort of gas leaking out of it. That is so cool. Wait, does it have eyes? No, that doesn't have eyes. It's some sort of space station that was just left up there. It makes me think, when does this take place? Does this take place like in a future, like a longer future down the road? Maybe in like the 3000s? Who knows? That is insane. Now, that's the final piece of concept art. But yeah, that's it for this Planes 3 part 3, I guess. My apologies that this one was unscripted here, but I wanted to give my, raw thoughts without being bound by a script. I have had so much fun with these planes videos and these discussion videos in general. And I just to see the traction that these videos have gotten and the effect that they have had on the cars community, I'm honored to be a big part of this. With that said, thank you so much for watching today's video. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and a huge thank you to everybody who has watched the first 2 videos, and to those who have watched this video, thank you very much. This is your favorite YouTuber, Rusty's95, signing out. Bye! I only got 20 seconds for this outro. I promise you that I won't go so slow. Make sure you subscribe to Rusty's95. Comment, like, and share. Comment, like, and share.